Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms, including Facebook and YouTube. So if you're joining from either place, please feel free to leave us a question or a comment. Hopefully I'll be able to go through them all as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. But let's get started here with a look at our headlines, and not much has changed since we talked earlier. We're still tracking out a mostly dry night tonight, and it's going to be fairly mild. We had that frontal boundary sag southward yesterday that kicked up a few showers and storms, cooled us down by a few degrees for today, but as it lifts back northward, it'll keep temperatures mild overnight, and it'll get even warmer by the time we get into tomorrow. So it's going to be warm through the second half of the weekend, breezy and dry. So that does bring in the risk of some elevated fire danger for tomorrow. And then we've got warm and stormy conditions through next week with almost daily chances for at least some showers and storms. Now, it's not going to be raining every second of every day, but each day will hold that chance for at least some showers or storms out there. And then by the time we get into next weekend, temperatures will start to cool back down a touch before they warm back up for the following week. So a little bit of a brief cool down, but nothing too crazy in terms of that drop in temperatures. Let's take a look at what's going on out there right now. We've got that frontal boundary again sagged to our south, but it's continuing to work its way north and east, and it actually kicked up a few spotty showers over portions of western Kentucky. That's where we're kind of thinking the best chances would be, because that front was closest in proximity and it was moving in during the peak heating of the day. But now that the sun is set, we've lost that daytime heating element. You can see a lot of the shower activity has pretty much fizzled out. So we're expected to stay dry here through the rest of the night tonight and into tomorrow. Temperatures today topped out at around 75 degrees, right on track to our south, a little bit warmer, 82 there in Bowling Green, and cooler to the north by around 10 degrees up towards Indianapolis, only topping out at around 66. Now, we've cooled down since this afternoon. Temperatures have dropped into the mid 60s for the most part, 67 in Evansville and Newburgh, 63 out towards Lewisport. That appears to be the cold spot on the map. Still hanging on to the upper 60s in a few locations over western Kentucky, 69 there in Owensboro, 68 out towards Dundee. But over the next 12 hours, temperatures should settle into the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees overnight tonight. And tomorrow we'll start off with mostly sunny skies, and then we should see that gradual increase in cloud cover through the afternoon and evening hours as temperatures climb up through the low to mid 80s. Again, it's going to be pretty warm and dry and breezy. Here's a look at those dew points. You can see that dew point trend goes way down all the way for Sunday. So the air mass itself is just going to be straight up dry. Relative humidity is down between 25 and 35%. And taking a look at the wind gusts, we could see gusts upwards of 25 miles per hour out of the southeast, or excuse me, out of the southwest, maybe even closer to 30 at some points throughout the day. And with all of that dry ground, there's plenty of fuel as well. Much of the tri-state is kind of sitting either in abnormally dry conditions or at least under some sort of moderate to severe drought levels. The worst of it over portions of western Kentucky and Hopkins, Muhlenberg, and Ohio County, and even a little bit there into southern McLean County. So that's why we do have that elevated fire risk headed into tomorrow. Now, you definitely don't want to be burning anything outside. You don't want to be throwing your cigarette butts out the window. You want to make sure you're putting them out in water or anything like that. So no bonfires, no burning trash or leaves outdoors tomorrow, because that could quickly cause at least a spread in fire with all of the dry fuel we have out there. So that's kind of what that elevated fire danger is pointing out to you. But we will see some relief from all this dry weather as we get into next week. And that first wave of relief actually comes overnight Sunday and into Monday morning. So let's track it all out. Starting tomorrow morning, we'll stay dry throughout the day on Sunday, mostly sunny skies through the morning and into the afternoon before a gradual increase in that cloud cover through the late afternoon and early evening hours. And then as that cloud cover moves in, we could catch a few of those sprinkles around midnight or just after midnight, but I think the best chances for some showers showers or even a few thunderstorms will be very, very early on Monday morning before daybreak. So we'll have some of that sliding through. Maybe if you're on an early morning commute, you may be running into some of those showers and storms, but it does clear out by mid to late morning on Monday, and then we should be fairly dry through the afternoon outside of maybe an isolated sprinkle or an isolated shower. So that first wave on Monday, primarily in the morning, and then drier through the rest of the day. And that's kind of the going thinking here through the rest of the work week. We're not expecting widespread rain all day, every day for next week. It's just a period of time, at least each day, we may see at least some scattered showers or storms. But over the next 7 days, our rainfall forecast, I showed this yesterday, it's actually increased a little bit. We're now looking at anywhere between a half an inch up to maybe even an inch and a half in some spots across the tri-state. Now, it does look like the least amount of rainfall will be falling across areas that need it the most. So western Kentucky not getting as much as areas to the north of the Ohio River. But overall, any little bit of rain is going to be helpful in this case. And taking a look at our severe storm risk headed into next week, we're not too concerned with severe weather on Monday or Tuesday, but as we get into Wednesday, specifically Wednesday night into Thursday morning, that's where we have that potential for at least maybe a strong to severe storm. But as of right now, much of the tri-state still remains unoutlooked for severe weather. It really only clips portions of southern Illinois there in Edwards, Wabash, and Wayne County, even a little bit there into White County and Gallatin County. So here's a look at what the longer range European model is showing, just to give you some context to that outlook. So here we are, our Wednesday. Much of the day on Wednesday is just going to be pretty cloudy and breezy. A lot of the showers and storms remain off to our west and to our north. But as we get into the overnight hours and into early Thursday morning, that's when we'll see this little bit of a line start to form well off to our west towards St. Louis. And as that line moves in from the northwest to southeast, it will be weakening. But as it weakens, you may still catch a few warnings there in southern Illinois, at least at this point in time. It doesn't really look like we have a widespread severe weather risk headed into next week. And at this point in time, I'm not even too confident those storms will actually even hold severe characteristics by the time they reach portions of southern Illinois. But we are currently outlooked for at least that chance of a strong to severe storm in our southern Illinois counties. So we'll be monitoring it over the next couple of days. Perhaps we may see it kind of pushed back a little bit, or we may see it expand. If we see it expand and we see something a little bit more menacing or widespread of a potential, we'll go ahead and issue that alert day, and that would be most likely for Wednesday night and into Thursday. And it looks like even shower and storm chances could even continue into next weekend. But there's a look at the next 7 days. So again, fairly warm out there. It's going to be very warm tomorrow, topping out in the low to mid 80s, but it gets even warmer by the time we get into Tuesday. That warm front is going to be well off to our north. We'll have winds coming up from the south, so that always ushers in warmer air. So we could be topping back out in the mid to maybe even upper 80s in a few locations, and then we'll hold in the low to mid 80s through the end of the work week before we start to cool back down into the 70s by the time we get into next Saturday, possibly even down into the 60s by next Sunday with another cold front moving through. But that little cool down will be fairly short-lived. We're still outlooked here for above average temperatures through the 17th and into the 21st. And in terms of precipitation, we could end up slightly above average with that weather pattern more so off to our west, the more active stuff off to our west and to our north. But as those storm systems pass by, we may get clipped again by some of those showers as well. So kind of similar to what we're looking at for next week. But that's a look at your forecast here. Let me go ahead and take that full screen and check out some of the comments for you. If you have any questions, hopefully I can answer them. Laura Gray, watching from Dawson Springs, thank you for joining us. Christina, she's watching from Muhlenberg County. Thank you for joining. Good evening to you, Cheyenne and Suzanne. Laura Gray said it rained earlier and saw a great big rainbow. Well, that's awesome. That's kind of the best part about these kind of little popcorn showers that aren't really a concern for any severe weather is when they happen at this time of day, especially that early evening headed into sunset. You always end up with a rainbow somewhere. So that's great news. I'm happy you were able to see that. And Zach Seitz says good evening. So good evening to you as well. That is all the questions and comments that I'm seeing right now. So I am going to hop off the live stream and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, have a great rest of your night and enjoy the rest of your weekend.